Welcome to Sacred Crossings. I'm glad you're here. My name is Michelle Ledbetter. I'm a registered nurse. I'm certified in hospice and palliative care. I've been doing hospice on and off for the past 20 years, and I am here to share information about death and dying and also transition. I had a near death experience myself about 6 years ago after an automobile accident. And in that altered state of reality, I got some insight into transition, not only in death, but in life. So that's what this channel is about. It's a very casual um, channel, and thank you for being here. So let's get started. Today's topic, morphine. So probably if you hear that word, you might have a little trigger going on. And that is very, very common. People are very fearful of morphine. They've heard stories about morphine being a very dangerous drug. They hear about street drugs and people becoming addicted to pain medication. And so the trigger, if you have one, is a legit feeling. It's okay. I'm here to give you some information about it so that hopefully it'll take some of the trigger and the fear component away from it. If your nurse, with the doctor's order, of course, recommends morphine for comfort, physical pain comfort, or shortness of breath, those are two indications that morphine works very, very well. When we give morphine, we give very low doses to our hospice patients. We start at a very low dose, we see how it's tolerated, and if indicated, we will titrate it or move it up based on what the needs are. So know that the medication amount of morphine that we give is very, very small. And we will gradually increase that dose if needed. If not, sometimes we keep it right where it is. So indications for morphine are pain. Come on, guys, let's face it. When you're in pain, your quality of life stinks. It's hard to get around having a comfortable life when you are dealing with chronic pain. So first line is, of course, things that are not quite as strong as morphine, but truly, if you are at end of life, morphine is a wonderful medication. The other thing that we use it for, and it is a magical medication for this, is shortness of breath. It works on the brain centers so that people that are feeling short of breath feel like they're able to get a bigger breath. So that shortness of breath eases, and with easing of shortness of breath, of course, if you've got anxiety around that, which very often we do have anxiety around shortness of breath, that will start to dissipate as well. So morphine is an absolutely beautiful medication to give to a loved one who is moving through transition. Don't be afraid of it. Ask questions. Let your nurse know if you have any concerns or issues. If you have had a reaction to morphine in the past, there are true reactions to medication, and then there are some maybe things that aren't so likable, intolerances, that if you continue taking medication, well, let me back up here for a second. One thing, often people will say, oh, I think I had an allergy to morphine. And when we dig a little deeper and ask what was it that the patient experiences, typically they'll say it's itching. Morphine gives very often a sensation, it's a hyper sensation on the skin. And it feels very comforting just to rub the skin with this hyper sensation that can sometimes happen with morphine. People confuse that with an allergy. It will dissipate as you continue to take the medication. If it becomes a real big problem to where you're constantly rubbing and it's itching, you can take a Benadryl, low dose Benadryl with morphine that will sometimes help with that feeling. But if you continue to take it over a couple days, that feeling goes away. And the benefits that people receive from the morphine are well worth just continuing with it until that uncomfortable skin feeling goes away. That is probably the biggest allergy that we hear. And that's not really a true allergy. It's a hypersensitivity, and it's a very common one. So if you have that, don't stop taking your morphine. See if you can get a medication that can coincide with it until you get used to it, or just stick it out and rub, rub, rub. But morphine is a very lovely medication to give at end of life. And I highly recommend it if there's indication for it, either pain or shortness of breath. And what I also share with family members who are reluctant to give it, there's this last dose theory, right? Where people are afraid that the last dose they gave is the dose that's going to take their loved one to the next realm, to heaven. That is something that is a valid thought. I get that. But the morphine itself, when a person is truly transitioning, it does not potentiate the end result. It just makes it easier and more pleasant. So open your mind if you're having hesitation about morphine, administering it to yourself or your loved one at end of life. It truly is a gift. Thank you for joining me here on Sacred Crossings. I hope to see you again real soon. Please, if this information was helpful, share it, like it, and comment below if there's certain topics that you'd like me to talk about. Have a wonderful day.